He is the all-powerful being that hails from the nightmare realm and beyond, all-knowing and yet unknowable. Bill Cipher's very being is incomprehensible to us mortals, but that doesn't mean I won't try. Here are 107 facts about Gravity Falls' public and cosmic enemy number 1, Bill Cipher. Number 1. Just looking at him, Bill Cipher's design is based on the Eye of Providence, that pyramid with the eyeball design you see on the back of dollar bills. Number 2. Of course, in the universe of Gravity Falls, the Eye of Providence actually comes from him. Need to give credit where credit's due. Number 3. Playing into the whole dollar bill angle, Bill Cipher was originally colored green, not yellow. Number 4. However, one of the artists felt that the first green design made him look too much like a leaf, so they eventually changed his color to yellow. Number 5. Even his name is a reference to money. Bill is like a dollar bill, and Cipher is like a code. Number 6. Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch designed Bill Cipher himself. Number 7. Alex Hirsch is even the one who voices Bill Cipher in the show. Number 8. Hirsch described his voice for Bill as a bad impression of famous director David Lynch. The Gravity Falls crew actually asked Lynch to play Bill, but he declined. Number 9. When Hirsch first created Bill Cipher, the character was just supposed to be a one-off, only to appear in one episode. Over time, Hirsch and the writers changed Bill to be the main antagonist, as he became more and more interwoven within the Gravity Falls lore. Number 10. We know him as truly evil, but Bill wasn't always planned to be so. He was originally written as more of a trickster, not good or evil, just out to give people headaches. Number 11. Originally, Bill Cipher was named Bill Black. Hirsch thought that the name Black would fit his dark and mysterious personality. Number 12. However, Disney stepped in, worried that they'd be sued by the real-life Bill Black. Number 13. As for the real-life Bill Black, I'm not entirely sure who Disney was specifically worried about. The most famous Bill Black I could find was the bassist in Elvis Presley's original band trio. The dude died in 1965, so maybe Disney was worried about being sued by any and all remaining Bill Blacks. Number 14. Point is, Hirsch and the Gravity Falls team were forced to change Bill's name, so they went with Cipher because they thought that also sounded dark and mysterious. Number 15. Nothing says dark and mysterious quite like the Illuminati. Being based on the Eye of Providence, or vice versa according to the show's lore, Bill Cipher is also a reference to the Illuminati. Number 16. Like the Illuminati, Bill Cipher has had a direct influence over history, again in the world of Gravity Falls. Ancient Egyptians tried to build him a portal, but it only worked for 10 minutes. Number 17. All the portal managed to do was free a jackal-headed man from the nightmare realm. We know him better as Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead. Number 18. Bill Cipher was so angry with the failed portals that he tormented the ancient Egyptians with nightmares as punishment. In response, they built giant stone tributes to Bill, begging him to stop. Number 19. Those tributes are the Great Pyramids. The arms and top hats that they were originally built with have since fallen off. Number 20. Bill Cipher even had an influence on American history. He's the one who gave George Washington inside info on how to beat the British and win the American Revolution. Number 21. Like the ancient Egyptians, Washington's portal for Bill was a bust. He constructed a steam-powered one, but it sank into a swamp. As punishment, Bill also gave Washington horrible nightmares. Number 22. Washington's nightmares were so bad that he ground his teeth to dust and needed wooden replacements. Number 23. To appease Bill Cipher and end his constant nightmares, Washington put him on the $1 bill as the Eye of Providence that we know it to be. Number 24. Even more recently, Bill Cipher helped Stanley Kubrick fake the moon landing in the late 1960s. Number 25. Here was the deal that they'd worked out. Kubrick would get his moon landing and the subsequent career boost. NASA would get to the moon before the Russians in the height of the Cold War, and Bill would get his own portal, courtesy of NASA. Number 26. Well, Kubrick wasn't able to convince NASA to go for the portal. When the bad news hit Bill, he decided to take it out on Kubrick. Number 27. Of course, he gave Kubrick horrible nightmares, but they actually ended up helping him out with his film career. Kubrick would recycle the disturbing imagery in films like A Clockwork Orange and The Shining. Number 28. So why is Bill Cipher so powerful? Well, he's a dream demon, of course, directly from the nightmare realm. Number 29. He's not made out of any kind of flesh and bone, but instead pure energy. Number 30. Bill Cipher wasn't originally from the nightmare realm though. Trillions of years ago, he resided in the second dimension, a place of flat minds and a flat world with flat dreams, as Bill puts it. Number 31. This makes Bill older than the universe and even time itself. Number 32. Bill managed to escape from the second dimension, but only by immolating the entire dimension and everyone in it, including his own parents. Number 33. As he was traveling between dimensions, Bill ultimately came to control the Nightmare Realm, a dark, undulating, chaotic space between dimensions where chaos reigns. Number 34. With chaos being the name of the game, Bill Cipher came to understand that the Nightmare Realm was doomed to collapse in on itself. Number 35. Luckily for him, Bill also happened upon a prophecy stating that he would merge the Nightmare Realm and the third dimension, and so he reached out to humans to accomplish this goal. Number 36. Trouble was, he had no physical form within the Nightmare Realm, so he was forced to reach out to humans through their dreams. He adopted the name Bill Cipher to make it easier to communicate with them. Number 37. No one knows what his original name was from the second dimension, or even in the Nightmare Realm. Apparently, if a mortal were to hear Bill's true name, they would evaporate, with an expression of horror and ecstasy on their face. Number 38. The first human Bill ever contacted was MODOK the Wise, a shaman of the native group that lived in Oregon, where the town of Gravity Falls would eventually be founded. Number 39. As he did with George Washington and the Egyptians, Bill tasked MODOK with constructing a portal. Due to his limited tech capabilities, MODOK could only make it out of twigs. Number 40. When MODOK discovered the eventual apocalyptic result of his dealings with Bill, he lit himself on fire to prevent it from happening. Number 41. Soon after, the other natives found a way to defeat Bill with a zodiac of 10 symbols. They created cave paintings detailing their encounter with Bill, an incantation to summon him, and a foreboding warning to never read the incantation out loud. From there, the natives evacuated, deeming their old home cursed land due to Bill. Number 42. The rest is history. Go check out Gravity Falls if you want the whole story. As you watch the show, keep an eye out for Bill Cipher. You can see images of him throughout the entire series. In that sense, he appears in every episode of the show. Number 43. Any image of Bill you see, you can see through, too. That means he's always watching. He is the abyss that stares back. Number 44. These tiny Bill Easter eggs were deliberately included by the creators of the show, as a way to let the audience know that Bill was always keeping tabs on the Pines family. Number 45. He's plastered all over the Pines' base of operations, the Mystery Shack. He's a part of the A in the Mystery Shack sign, appears on the rug in the gift shop, and is also part of the red stained glass window in the attic. Number 46. Not all of Bill's appearances are front and center though. Bill pops up on a jar of paintbrushes labeled Bill Jar in Headhunters. He's also on the back of a deck of cards in the Time Traveler's Pig. You can even see Bill on a tube of makeup in Carpet DM. Number 47. In one particular appearance, Bill shows up in Journal 2 on the $12 bill. The bill says Semper Vigilantum, translated from Latin, means always watching, a haunting hint alluding to Bill's omnipresence. Number 48. In fact, Bill is so omnipresent that he even makes cameo appearances in other shows. He pops up a couple of times on Rick and Morty, one being on a computer monitor in Big Trouble in Little Sanchez. Number 49. You can see a poster of him in Sophomore Slump, an episode of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. He also appears a number of times in the new DuckTales. Number 50. While those appearances are less obvious, there is one instance where you can't possibly miss him. In The Simpsons. In the episode Bart's in Jail, Bill Cipher appears in a mass hallucination. In this instance, he's actually the Norse god Loki, who says Bill Cipher is one of his forms. He's even voiced by Alex Hirsch. Number 51. Bill is no stranger to appearances in the real world too. In 2013, Alex Hirsch and the Gravity Falls crew took a 4-day road trip through Oregon and Northern California. Number 52. Dubbed the Mystery Tour 2013, the idea was to find the weirdest tourist traps across the region and leave drawings of Bill Cipher behind. Number 53. Hirsch and the crew would draw Bill Cipher on everything from garbage cans, telephone poles, and random signs. taking pictures of the drawings and tweeting them out along the way. Number 54. From there, the Gravity Falls team issued a challenge. If fans found the Bill drawings and posted pictures of themselves at those spots, they would receive mystery prizes. Number 55. The events of Gravity Falls and Bill Cipher's evil schemes culminate in the final showdown, as depicted in Weirdmageddon Parts 1 through 3. For Weirdmageddon Part 1, Bill was actually going to have his own villain song. Number 56. Bill's would-be song was called It's Gonna Get Weird, but was ultimately cut from the episode due to time restraints. Number 57. You can actually still hear this song and watch the full accompanying animatic on YouTube. The song also appears as a deleted scene in the special features section of the Gravity Falls series box set. Number 58. At the end of Weirdmageddon Part 3, Bill is defeated and turned into a photorealistic stone statue. The Gravity Falls creators actually had a statue of Bill made. Number 59. The end of the episode even teased the possibility that this real statue was hidden somewhere in the real world. The image is accompanied by an encoded hint that includes the phrases "deep within the woods" and "beyond the rusty gates." Number 60. A few months after the finale of Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch challenged fans everywhere to try and find the statue. And so the Cipher hunt was officially underway. Number 61. Hirsch came up with the idea when he knew the series was coming to a close. He wanted to give fans one last mystery in a way that no show had ever done. So he went with an augmented reality game. The earlier Mystery Tour was kind of an ARG proof of concept for Gravity Falls. Number 62. To make the statue itself, Hirsch enlisted the help of Fawn Davis, a prop master and judge on BattleBots. Number 63. To make sure the statue was built to weather the elements, Davis made it out of plexiglass. From there, he covered it with glue that had seeds mixed into it, giving it that overgrown look like it's been lost in the wilderness for years. Number 64. With the statue made, Hirsch needed to find a spot for it. He ended up heading to Reedsport, Oregon, where he found a woman who was down to let him hide it on her property for people to find. Number 65. From there, Hirsch traveled around the world, leaving little hints for the Cipher hunt as he went along. Number 66. With all of the clues and hints laid, Hirsch officially announced Cipher Hunt on July 20th, 2016. Number 67. But first, he laid out a few ground rules. First, he made sure to clarify that the entire game was completely unofficial. Not Disney nor any other company had anything to do with it. Cipher Hunt was entirely Alex Hirsch's creation. Number 68. Next, he was clear about discouraging trespassing and vandalism. Hirsch assured fans that every hint was in a public space, and told people to mind their surroundings and be respectful, comparing the Cipher Hunt to playing Pokemon Go. Number 69. The final and arguably most important rule was thus: if you happen to find the Bill Cipher statue, do not shake his hand. Number 70. And so, Hirsch tweeted the first image with a number of coded hints, along with the hashtag FLSKHUKXQW. Shifting those letters 3 letters back, the letters read out as the hashtag Cipher Hunt. Number 71. Using the same 3-letter cipher, hunters translated messages in the tweeted image, which read, "The urban legend has come true. Cipher's statue calling you. The secret map is in your hand to trace the clues across the land." And the other read, "Don't forget it's all for pleasure. The hunt itself's the real treasure, but a prize awaits the first one there. Be safe, be smart, and of course, beware." Number 72. While those hints were more of an introduction, the first real hint was quickly discovered. Across both messages, the letters in red spelled out Russia. Sure enough, the first clue was found in the Kazan Cathedral in St. Petersburg. Number 73. The clue has a line that reads, "Switch your rubles out for yen," confirming Japan as the location of the next hint. Number 74. More specifically, the hint gave instructions to enter a shrine with specific directions to follow until you reach the leftmost corner in the back of the shrine, and that a sword and a crescent mark the clue. Number 75. Following the directions, somebody found a spot with that exact description, locating the second hint inside of the Kanda Myojin Shrine. Number 76. Part of this second hint read, "The Hunter of the Fountain of Youth," 400 before his name is written. Another key hint read, "Find what's lost," in all caps, to pass the test, from a shrine that's east to a shrine that's west. Number 77. Fans found a poster at 400 Ponce de Leon Avenue Northeast in Atlanta, Georgia. The poster was a missing person poster for Waddles with Lost right at the top. Number 78. While the poster had some information about Waddles, including his weight and when he was last seen, there was also an encrypted message that, when decoded, read, "Across from the stones of the springs, you'll find some peculiar things. Tied to a root is a lone pink key. Dig to find what waits for thee." Number 79. But that's not all. Another key hint was a phone number. When called, the phone number plays a message in reverse. Played properly, it's a message from Grunkle Stan. Number 80. In his message, Grunkle Stan, played by Alex Hirsch of course, said the next clue was at Ochre Court, a big old building in Rhode Island. He also said to look behind a picture of a nun, Sister Mary Hilda Miley. The Ochre Court he's referring to is a building at Salve Regina University in Newport, Rhode Island. Number 81. Trouble was, university staff accidentally trashed the hint before the game even started, leaving Cipher hunters empty-handed. The university itself even tweeted out that there were no hints on campus, but wished the hunters luck. Number 82. Thankfully, Cipher Hunt hadn't hit a dead end. Gravity Falls Cipher tweeted out some hints, including one reminding hunters of the pink key hint, and another that read, "Return to what was and try again while waiting for something new." Number 83. Hunters took this to mean that there's another hint back in Atlanta, until Alex Hirsch tweeted Grunkle Stan's phone number, advising hunters to leave a message. Number 84. This time, Grunkle Stan gave the hint, "A man whose first name is his last," a statue honoring his past. Right behind him, by the sign of his park, a golden head shows light in the dark. Number 85. Not long after, hunters found the fourth hint near the Griffith J. Griffith statue in Los Angeles' Griffith Park. This clue was a piece of paper and an invisible ink pen inside of a golden Grunkle Stan head. Number 86. The next few hints saw Cipher hunters bouncing around along the west coast. A few more hints then popped up in LA, Piedmont, and even some in Oregon. The hunters were getting closer. Number 87. The clues started becoming increasingly more complex too, including cryptex wheels, locked PO boxes, and even a jigsaw puzzle. Number 88. One hint was found completely by accident. In Portland, Oregon, a fan was walking alone and noticed a garden gnome. They knew a gnome was part of the game, so they picked it up on a whim and found a viewfinder leading to another hint. Number 89. The gnome's location was supposed to be revealed on the jigsaw puzzle, so to incentivize the hunter finishing the now revealed clue, Alex Hirsch promised to sign the completed puzzle and release the pilot of Gravity Falls. Number 90. The hint in the viewfinder under the garden gnome pointed to Confusion Hill in Mendocino County, California. There you could find a little gift shop, not unlike the Mystery Shack. Using a special password, Philbrick, a fan bought a jar of fake eyeballs with the next clue written on the underside of the lid. Number 91. The next few hints pointed to various spots in Oregon, until finally, with a hint from Alex Hirsch and an entire Polybius-based decoding, the last clue was revealed. Reedsport, Oregon. Number 92. Using a sort of treasure map that was an earlier clue, fans quickly found Bill Cipher's specific location once they'd narrowed down the city. Number 93. The first one to get there was a Cipher hunter who, at the time, went by @shadow_wolfwind on Twitter. She found the statue on August 2nd, 2016 at 7:53 p.m. PDT, and with that, the hunt was over. Number 94. Other fans soon arrived and took pictures with the statue, even shaking its hand, clearly breaking the most important rule. Number 95. The hunters all worked together to dig up a treasure chest buried in front of the statue. The chest contained a bunch of stuff including fake coins, real Russian and Japanese currency, a plastic crown, and a sash that read Mayor of Gravity Falls. Number 96. Also, the treasure chest contained a copy of Journal 3 with a special message from Alex Hirsch, saying that whoever found the treasure would be the new Mayor of Gravity Falls. Sure enough, with Hirsch's blessing, @shadow_wolfwind changed her Twitter officially to @officialgfmayor. Number 97. While she was the new mayor on the books, off the books she was not actually the first one to find the statue. See, among the treasure, much of the plastic money was marked with the name Bradley. Number 98. On July 12, 2016, before the Cipher hunt had even officially started, a Reedsport local named Bradley happened upon the Bill Cipher statue. He had never seen the show, so he was confused. Number 99. To get some answers, Bradley took a picture of the statue and asked around on an unsolved mystery subreddit, to little avail. Luckily, the user behind @TheMysteryOfGF's Twitter found his post before any hunters did. Number 100. Sure enough, Bradley was put into contact with Alex Hirsch, who explained the whole situation to him, rewarding him with $100 in exchange for his discretion until the hunt was over. Number 101. The next day, August 3rd, the Bill Cipher statue was actually taken by local authorities due to a dispute over whose property the statue was actually on. In the transport process, the statue's hat broke off. Number 102. While the statue was held at the police station, someone actually stole the hat, telling police that it was theirs. To this day, that original hat has never been recovered. Number 103. In the end, the Bill Cipher statue now resides back in Confusion Hill, California, complete with a new hat. There's even a new treasure box that the shop keeps behind the counter, a larger one to hold things that fans leave behind as a tribute to Bill and the Cipher hunt. Number 104. Before Bill Cipher was erased from existence at the end of Gravity Falls, in 2015 he did hold a 60-minute Ask Me Anything on Reddit to answer questions from fans directly. Number 105. He took the opportunity to clarify a few interesting points. For one, he briefly explained that using dream catchers won't keep him from invading your dreams. They just tickle him. Number 106. If you were wondering, his favorite solar system is that of Tegiak. For the record, that is what Earth was once called, according to Scientology. Number 107. Oh, and he also answered the most burning question of all. Despite his seemingly infinite powers, no, Bill Cipher cannot see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He admitted so himself. Cinnamon Toast Crunch may be Bill Cipher's glaring blind spot, but I have no doubt that he can see at least 107 reasons why you should subscribe to ChannelFrederator. We've got videos like this coming out all the time, so subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.